gained unmatched football strength, surpassing Messi and Ronaldo. Episode 51. After Lin Rui re-entered training, no one dared to come up and make small moves for him. On the contrary, many players who were originally a little indifferent to him looked at him at this time, and their eyes were much more solemn. Lin Rui took advantage of this conflict and successfully won the respect of others. Regardless of whether this attention is benign or malicious, anyway, Lin Rui is no longer the person who has just entered the team and is insignificant at this time. So, sometimes respect is beaten and struggled. Blindly humble, sometimes it will make others think that you are a good bully, so as to get an inch. Only when you let others clearly know your bottom line, others will pay attention not to touch. Now, Lin Rui is telling others in his own way where his bottom line is. After a day of training, Lin Rui had just returned to the dressing room, ready to change clothes and go to dinner. His cell phone rang. A glance at the telegraph showed that it was Li Bing, a reporter from Sports Weekly. Lin Rui pressed the answer button, and then he heard Li Bing's voice from the other side. "Lin Rui, have you entered the squad this time?" Li Bing's voice was filled with expectation. Lin Rui spoke very concisely, and then he heard Li Bing's breathing over there become noticeably rapid. "I grass. Awesome. I thought it would take a few days to see you in La Liga, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon." Li Bing looked very excited. This is definitely big news. He could already think that this news would cause another upsurge when it was sent back to China. The two exchanged a few more simple pleasantries, and Li Bing hung up the phone. After hanging up the phone, he passed the news of Lin Rui's inclusion in this weekend's league squad back to China overnight. By early the next morning, the news appeared on the front page of Sports Weekly. When the fans of Huagua saw the news, they were naturally jubilant. Lin Rui is awesome. He just entered the first team and entered the squad. It seems that Simeone is very optimistic about him. Indeed, I hope he will seize this opportunity. After all, this is the only Chinese who plays in the 5 major leagues now. Do you say Lin Rui can play this time? If you think about it, even if you can play, it will be in the last minutes of the game. Let him go up and feel the atmosphere, which has to be Atletico Madrid's lead. If the team does not play well, it is estimated that it will be difficult for him to be sent on the field. Alas. So do you say we still want to watch the game? Of course, it depends on it, although there is not much hope, but if you are lucky, or if Atletico Madrid leads more, you may be able to let Lin Rui play for a few more minutes. Besides, even if we can't play, it's good that we can see Chinese players sitting on the bench on TV. Also, I don't know how long I haven't seen Chinese players appear on the field of the 5 major leagues. I'm really looking forward to it. However, Lin Rui did not know that the domestic fans were completely agitated under the news that he entered the squad. At this time, he is preparing for the warm-up before the game. Today is Atletico Madrid's match day at home to Real Betis. The game was played at 8 o'clock in the evening, and by about 7 o'clock, Atletico's home stadium, the Calderón Stadium, which can accommodate more than 50,000 people, was already packed. Atletico fans in red and white shirts dominated most of the stadium, holding banners and waving the Atletico Madrid flag, while many fans held banners with the names of the players they supported, where they cheered. The cheers of tens of thousands of people made the entire stadium look like a volcano that was about to erupt at any time. The live broadcast room of Sports Weekly also started the live broadcast early. Previously, because Lin Rui was in the 2nd division, Sports Weekly and the Spanish Football Federation talked about broadcasting lobby matches. But no one expected that Lin Rui only played 2 games in the West B before being sent to the first team to play La Liga. In this way, the previous investment of Sports Weekly in the 2nd division competition can be regarded as a failure. However, with the previous cooperation, it will be much easier to talk to the Spanish Football Federation about the broadcast of La Liga later. The Spanish Football Federation also gave face, giving the Sports Weekly La Liga broadcasting rights at a relatively favorable price. As for the broadcast of the West B match, they have not given up, but it is no longer the point. Now Sports Weekly has shifted its focus to the broadcast of La Liga. The people who presided over the commentary of today's game were Lu Jian and Zhang Lu and Xu Fan. Seeing the warm atmosphere of the scene, Lu Jian was also very excited. The scene looks very lively now, and the attention of this game is still very high. In recent years, Atletico Madrid's results have been stable within the top 5 of the league, and Real Betis has also done well in the past 2 years, hovering around 7 or 8 all year round. In the comparison of the strength of these two teams, Atletico have a slight advantage, but Real Betis is not a weak team. So the game between the two teams is still very interesting. That's right, although Atletico Madrid is superior, it is still at home. It can be said that the winning surface is relatively bigger, but Real Betis is not a soft persimmon. If Atletico Madrid does not pay attention, it is likely to be bitten by the other side. This game depends on who can be more serious, the tactical use is more reasonable, and the players play better. Zhang Lu also began to analyze the game prospects of the two sides. Xu Fan on the side is obviously not good at these technical analysis, but she also has her own set. She looked at the live broadcast screen and suddenly excitedly shouted, "Wow! I saw a banner with Lin Rui's name on it. Still written in Chinese. Unexpectedly, Lin Rui already has his own fans in La Liga. Her words immediately caught the attention of the other two presenters, as well as fans who were watching the live broadcast. I began to look among the fans at the scene. At this time, the director of the scene obviously noticed this detail, and specially gave a close-up of the fan phalanx holding a banner with Lin Rui's name written on it. I saw a middle-aged woman with a strong figure holding a banner with Lin Rui's Chinese name written on it with several fans next to her, bouncing and jumping there. If Lin Rui was here, he could recognize it at a glance. It was Aunt Krya from the Players Restaurant. She was leading dozens of Lin Rui fans to the scene to cheer Lin Rui on. Episode 52. Lin Rui stood on the turf of Calderon Stadium, listening to the deafening cheers coming from the surroundings and watching the movements of tens of thousands of fans around him. His adrenaline rushed. Compared with the current scene, the scene of thousands of people in the West B competition in the past was simply a small witch. I will soon be in this place, under the witness of tens of thousands of people on the scene, to interpret my own brilliance. As soon as he thought of this, Lin Rui's heart was full of excitement. Soon, the warm-up was over and the players from both sides returned to the dressing room. Simone was already waiting there with a serious face. Seeing the face of the head coach, all the players also sat honestly in their chairs, waiting for each other's words. Today's game is at our home stadium and our opponents will definitely play defensive counterattacks. So today we have to be a little aggressive in our attack and try to knock on the door of the other side at the beginning. In addition, when we attack, our back line must always pay attention to the protection behind us to prevent the opponent from hitting our counterattack. Falcao, your task is to use your speed and technical advantage up front to create chances, and the requirement I ask you is to attack and try to score as quickly as possible. Adrian, you have to pay attention to Falcao. When he attracts the opposing defensive pressure, you have to be able to pull out the gap in time. If you have the opportunity, you can also shoot directly. Simeone explained in detail the tasks of each player on the pitch. This is Simeone's coaching style, so that every player knows exactly what to do on the pitch and what to look out for. In this way, everyone's goal is very clear. Just play according to the preset tasks on the pitch. However, this also has the disadvantage that it gives players less freedom, which is easy to make the team fall into rigid routines. After all, sometimes football games are full of variables. Strict tactical execution is important, but sometimes the flash of personal inspiration of players can also affect the course of the game. Now Simeone's approach is clearly inhibiting the players' individual play, but there's no way around it. There are two sides to everything, and if there are good aspects, there must be bad aspects. As for the trade-offs, that's a matter of opinion. Of course, from the actual effect, Simeone's coaching method is still relatively successful. At least he pulled Atletico Madrid up from the trough of previous years. Therefore, no one dared to show impatience with his detailed explanation, and they were listening carefully. They knew that their boss would never rub sand in his eyes. After explaining one by one, Simeone looked at his watch, and then with an order, all the players walked out of the dressing room and headed for the stadium. Coming to the players' tunnel, the players lined up and walked onto the pitch behind the referee and linesman of the match. When the players appeared in the field, the entire stadium erupted into earth-shattering cheers. Of course, most of these cheers were given to the home team Atletico Madrid. As for the visiting team Real Betis, the home fans did not boo them. They were already very face-giving. If it is Atletico's sworn enemy, such as Real Madrid or Barca, it is estimated that it is already a lot of boos at this time. Lin Rui sat on the bench and watched the main players on both sides of the field methodically complete the pre-match ceremony. Seeing the main players in the center of the stadium who were cheered by the fans, Lin Rui said in his heart that it was impossible not to envy. At this time, these main players are the most beautiful cubs in the game. Everyone is radiant. When the live DJ introduces each player's name, there will be a burst of applause and cheers. This made Lin Rui, who was sitting on the bench, also couldn't help but feel excited. When will I get this treatment? By this time, the captains of both sides on the pitch had completed the side guess. Atletico Madrid was given the kickoff and Real Betis was given the right to pick the side. When the players from both sides formed their respective positions in their chosen half, the referee blew the start whistle of the game. Dear fans, welcome to the live broadcast room of Sports Weekly. And now we bring you the third round of the 2012-13 La Liga season, when Atletico Madrid host Real Betis. First of all, let's take a look at the starting lineups of both sides. Atletico Madrid side: goalkeeper, number 13 Courtois. Defenders, number 23 Miranda, number 3 Felipe, number 2 Godin, number 21 Fran. Midfielders, number 14 Gabi, number 4 Mario Suarez, number 8 Raul Garcia, and number 10 Turan. Forward, number 7 Adrian. Partners, number 9 Falcao. Atletico Madrid's formation today is still their usual 4-4-2. Let's take a look at Real Betis. First of all, their goalkeeper, number 1 Castro. Defenders, number 6 Martinez, number 23 Nacho, number 4 Amaya, and number 5 Dorado. Midfielders, number 8 Ruben Perez, number 10 Binat Echeverria, number 14 Salva Sevilla, Nosa Equibo, and number 21 Canas. Forward, number 17 Juan Carlos. Real Betis played in a 4-2-3-1 4-3-1 formation today, and it looks like they're going to strangle Atletico in midfield today. Okay, let's get back to the game, by which point the referee has blown the whistle for the start of the game. Wearing red and white stripes on the field, home team Real Madrid is attacking from the left side of the screen to the right, and on the other side wearing green and white stripes, attacking from the right side of the screen to the left is the visiting team Real Betis. Atletico Madrid kicked off first and they started the game with a fierce attack, seemingly to see if they could score first before the opponent could gain a foothold. Real Betis on the other side is obviously ready to defend against the counterattack, and in the face of Atletico Madrid's attack, they did not panic, but quickly recovered the formation and fought positional battles with their opponents. In the live broadcast room, Lu Jian began to analyze the situation of the two sides after introducing the lineup of the two sides. At this time, it was Atletico Madrid's attack on the pitch. Falcao received a straight ball from Turan at the top of the penalty area. He took the ball, passed Martinez, who came up to steal, and then burst into the box. And before the other Real Betis defenders pounced, he shot straight up and on goal. However, his shot was a little hasty, did not adjust the angle, and was directly saved in the arms of Real Betis goalkeeper Castro. Castro quickly got up holding the ball, then threw the ball directly with his hand to launch a counterattack. Episode 53. Castro threw the ball far away, and Ruben Perez, who was outside the penalty area, saw the ball thrown by Castro and rushed straight towards the Atletico half. After he ran a few meters away, the football also happened to fly in front of him. He stretched out his foot to pad the ball, and used the speed of the rush to pass Gabi, who came up to intercept him. Then the ball went straight through the half. At this time, only Atletico's two dragging centre-backs were left in front of him. Faced with interceptions by two Atletico defenders, he did not choose to force the ball this time, but began to split the ball on the wing. Salva on the right was already rushing on the wing by this time. Ruben Perez's pass was just right and it was given to him, so that he didn't have to slow down. He just had to stretch his foot forward and go straight to the left side of the Atletico penalty area. Atletico left back Felipe hurriedly stepped up to intercept and prevent Salvanesh. However, Salva did not intend to cut inside, but continued to dribble the ball to the baseline. And when the ball came near the bottom line, he directly kicked an inverted triangle cross and kicked the football to the penalty spot in the middle of the penalty area. Ruben Perez arrived just in time to get ahead of Atletico defender Godin and sent a direct push. The shot was very tricky, and Courtois was still a little short of it, despite his best efforts and stretching out his arm to block. The football grazed his hand and rolled over. Then he hit the inside of the post on the left side of the goal and bounced into the goal. Oops. Dangerous. Ruben Perez. Shot. The ball is in. The ball was so tricky that Courtois couldn't help it. Less than 3 minutes into the opening game, the home side Atletico Madrid conceded first. That's not good news for them. The next game was tough. In the live broadcast room, Lu Jian was a little heartbroken. Obviously regretting this goal conceded. Real Betis' counterattack was really beautiful, although only 3 people participated in the whole counterattack, but other players were also planning for these people, so that Atletico Madrid's back line could not draw more people to participate in the defense for a while, which allowed Ruben Perez to drive straight in, which eventually led to this goal conceded. It can be seen that Real Betis should have conducted a lot of drills before the game. How everyone runs and pulls, all have the exact division of labor. This caught Atletico Madrid off guard. Zhang Lu commented on Real Betis' goal from the perspective of a professional player. I didn't expect Atletico Madrid to lose the ball as soon as they came up, so aren't they dangerous today? Xu Fan was also worried. It can't be said that the time of the game is still there. As long as Atletico Madrid plays steadily, there is still a chance. I'm afraid that if they concede the ball first at home, the mentality of the players will be affected, and then it will be troublesome, Zhang Lu explained with a smile. On the pitch at this time, Ruben Perez looked very excited after the goal, and he made a kneeling gesture directly in the half of Atletico Madrid. Then he was pressed under the Real Betis players, who rushed up excitedly. The Atletico fans in the stands fell silent for a moment. The few Real Betis fans cheered heartily. At this time, the home Atletico fans reacted and immediately let out a louder boo, which suppressed the cheers of the away fans. Simeone on the sidelines was already furious. Before the game, he told him to pay attention to the opponent's defensive counterattack, and now the game has just started, and he has been scored by the opponent. In this way, the rest of the game will be difficult to play. After the opponent is ahead of the score, he can play more comfortably against the counter. His pre-match predictions were suddenly disrupted. It was something he could not tolerate. If it had been a training match, he would have scolded several defenders to the blood. However, it was an official match and he had to restrain his temper so as not to put more pressure on the players. After stabilizing his mind, Simeone put his hands to his mouth and shouted at the Atletico players on the field, "Stabilize the position, don't rush to attack first, stabilize the defense first." He shouted this mainly because he was worried that Atletico's players would rush to equalize after falling behind, which could give their opponents an opportunity. If you concede another goal in a short period of time, it will be really big trouble. Sure enough, hearing Simeone's words, the Atletico Madrid players, who had just been hit, calmed down. After resuming the kickoff, Atletico Madrid did not attack immediately, but began to slowly penetrate in the midfield through continuous backwards. This made Real Betis, who had just scored a goal and boosted morale, unable to find a chance for a while. After several attempts, Real Betis defense, which found that there was no chance, began to retreat, and comfortably launched a defensive counterattack. Anyway, they are now 1 goal ahead, and it is not they who are in a hurry. Real Betis is not in a hurry, but the players of Atletico Madrid cannot. After stabilizing their position, Atletico Madrid's formation began to press and lay siege to Real Betis' goal. In the 7th minute, Raul Garcia picked up the ball in the middle, he smashed past the upper Perez, and then sent a diagonal pass directly to the right wing. After receiving the ball on the wing, Turan went straight down and crossed directly from near the baseline. Falcao jumped in the box to compete for the top, but he was followed by Real Betis' 1m92 central defender Amaya, and Falcao, who was only 1m77 tall, could not take advantage of the opponent's defense at all. The football was easily pushed out of the box by Amaya. Outside the box, the football was taken by Adrian, who adjusted a little and directly came with a long-range shot. It's a pity that this shot was not pressed, and the anti-aircraft gun was directly hit, and the football flew directly into the stands. In the 10th minute of the match, Atletico Madrid made a comeback. Gabi dribbled through midfield, sent a straight kick and pulled Falcao out of the box to receive the football. He used his strong body to carry Perez, who came up to steal, and then turned around with a pulling ball, leaving Perez behind. However, at this time, the box is full of people, and he has no angle to shoot at all, so he can only dribble the ball laterally and move to the left side of the box. As he moved, Royal Betis defenses moved to this side. Seeing the opportunity, he sent a cross directly to the middle of the box. His pass was aimed at Adrian, who was moving in the middle, but Adrian apparently did not expect Falcao to pass the ball suddenly. When he reacted and wanted to chase the ball, the football had been directly dispelled by Dorado, who rushed up. Adrian missed a great shot on goal. Episode 54. Oops. Oh, Adrian. He missed a great shot. Lu Jian shouted regretfully. The ball was actually passed very well by Falcao, and as long as Adrian could react a little faster, the ball would be there. It's a pity that he started late. Zhang Lu was also very sorry. Simeone on the sidelines was already celebrating the goal when Falcao passed the ball. But in the end, Adrian didn't keep up. This made Simone almost blow up his lungs. He couldn't hold back any longer, rushed to the sidelines, and roared at Adrian. Adrian, who knew his own loss, could only lower his head and did not dare to speak. The game continued as Atletico Madrid continued their attack on Real Betis goals. However, under the death of Real Betis, several attacks were thunderous and rainy. Atletico's 2 attacking arrows, although Falcao has a keen sense of smell in front of goal and a strong body, but Real Betis defenders also take care of him. Martinez and Amaya, 2 defenders, one high and one fast, defended Falcao very closely. Not far away, there is another defender, Nacho, assisting the defense. The focus of the 3 defenders makes it very difficult for Falcao to get the ball up front. Of course, Real Betis has invested heavily in defending Falcao, and the care of other Atletico attacking players will inevitably be much weaker. If Atletico's other striker, Adrian, is strong enough at this time, it should be easy to find a chance to score. It's just a pity that Adrian is not Costa, and he is not capable enough to step up when the team is in trouble. Real Betis simply assigned a player to keep an eye on him, making his role up front dispensable. Several of Atletico's attacks came to an abrupt end when they reached him. This made Simeone on the sidelines very annoyed, and at the same time a little helpless. Diego Costa's injury has affected the team too much. This has reduced the team's attack power by at least 30%. By this time, the game on the field had been going on for almost half an hour, and Atletico Madrid's attack had slowed down. With that kind of high-intensity onslaught, no matter which team it is impossible to last a whole game. After attacking for a while, the players also need to lower their tempo, and Real Betis was also relieved at this time. Just now, although Atletico Madrid's attack was unable to score, the pressure caused to them was real. Now I can finally catch my breath. However, they did not take the opportunity to attack in a big way, but only pressed their own front forward and began to strangle in the midfield and Atletico Madrid. In the 31st minute of the game, Gabi's pass in midfield was cut off by Salva, and after Salva broke the ball, he directly attacked. He made a diagonal pass to Perez on the right wing, who accelerated to catch up with the football and went down the line. Then before reaching the bottom line, go straight to the cross. In the Atletico penalty area, Juan Carlos has already outflanked him, facing the incoming ball and directly heading it over. However, his header did not eat the right part, and the football was raised by him, grazing the upper edge of the beam and flying out of the bottom line. The shot scared the Atletico Madrid players into a cold sweat. If the goal is tens of centimeters lower, it will be another goal. Juan Carlos, who missed the goal, patted his forehead regretfully and then extended a thumbs up to Salva, who passed the ball. In the 36th minute, Atletico Madrid had an attacking chance. Turan crosses from the wing. Adrian lost in the box in the fight against Dorado. The football was pushed out of the box by Dorado. The football happened to fall at Perez's feet. He saw the timing and sent a long pass directly. At this time, because Atletico Madrid was attacking, the overall defense was pressed very high. Perez's long pass directly pierced the last line of defense formed by Godin and Miranda. Juan Carlos, who had been lying in ambush near the midfield, also started at the right time, using his speed to instantly reverse the offside and chase the football directly behind the Atletico defender. This time Juan Carlos did not miss another opportunity. He ran wildly with the ball, and before entering the box, he faced Thibaut Courtois, who abandoned the goal, and directly picked up the ball and sent the ball into the Atletico goal. 2-0. After the goal, Juan Carlos excitedly did several front flips in a row. Then I was surrounded by excited teammates. Betis coach Pepe on the sidelines was also excited to run on the sidelines. Passing by Atletico's bench, he also glanced at Simeone intentionally or unintentionally. This made Simeone's already livid face even more ugly. Atletico Madrid were really depressed when they lost the ball. It was their attacking opportunity, but it made the opponent fight back. Is there anything more infuriating than this? If Lin Rui was on the field with that ball just now, it would definitely be impossible for the opposing defender to top the football. Adrian is really old, and Simeone should consider a substitution. In the live broadcast room, Lu Jian was a little heartbroken. I didn't expect that a good game made Atletico play like this. Atletico Madrid, this is just making money and not making money. There are quite a few attacks, but they don't pose any threat at all. Who says it wasn't? Atletico had a dozen shots on goal throughout the first half, not a single goal scored, while Real Betis scored 2 of 3 shots on goal. This goal efficiency. Alas, that Adrian really can't do it. I feel that Lin Rui is probably about to be replaced and looking forward to it. Yes, the team's performance is not good. Simeone will definitely have to adjust. Now it seems that only by adjusting the attack line, maybe Lin Rui really has a chance to play. The various ball gods in the comment area began to predict. Looking at these comments, Lu Jian turned his head to look at Zhang Lu on the side and asked, "Director Zhang, do you think Simeone will send Lin Rui to play?" I think it's still very likely. Atletico's attacking line in the first half was a bit weak under the defense of Real Betis' 2 tall centre-backs. Several opportunities were missed, and in this case, the team desperately needed a strong attacker to revitalize the entire front court. And Lin Rui, as a strong big center, is a suitable role. The only problem now is that Lin Rui has only been in the team for a few days after all, and his cooperation with his teammates is definitely worse. Now it's up to Simeone to use him. Zhang Lu was analytical. At this time on the court, Simeone, who had just been distorted by Pepe Meyer's contempt, finally made a decision. "Lin, you go warm up." Simone turned to look at Lin Rui and said, Episode 55. Hearing Simone's call, Lin Rui's heart jumped. The opportunity has finally come. He quickly agreed, stood up, took off his coat, and went to the sidelines to start warming up. Lin Rui went to warm up. He is really going to play. It's long past time to let Lin Rui play. But unfortunately, now Atletico are 2 goals behind. If Lin Rui can't change the situation, it is estimated that the manager's trust in him should be reduced. This is also a matter of no way. Lin Rui going up is to solve the difficulty. Otherwise, why let Lin Rui, a newcomer who has only been on the team for a few days, go up? I hope Lin Rui can kill all sides and score 2 goals on the field. That's cool. What do you think, buddy? Lin Rui has only been in the first team for a few days. It is estimated that even the names of his teammates are not complete. You let him have an outbreak now. Isn't that difficult for strongmen? He can play characteristics this time. If he is lucky, he can create a few threats for the team, even if he plays at a super level. As for goals, don't ask for too much good. You have a point, but I just want him to score, and although I know it's a small possibility, it's not enough to make people think about it. Seeing Lin Rui go to warm up, the fans in the live broadcast room suddenly became calm and posted their messages. At this point, the game was 42 minutes into the game, and Simeone made a substitution after an attack by Real Betis defenders broke the ball off the line. Number 7 Adrian, number 18 Lin Rui came on. Seeing that he was about to be replaced before he even played halftime, Adrian's face suddenly became very ugly. He silently walked to the sidelines, ignored Lin Rui's hand that extended to give a high five, and walked directly to the bench. Seeing the other party's reaction, Lin Rui shrugged his shoulders and ran directly onto the court. And just as Lin Rui's footsteps stepped onto the court, a voice sounded in his head. Trigger mission. Top league debut. Mission description. Score at least 1 goal and help the team to victory. Mission reward. 1 gift pack. Hearing this voice, Lin Rui's heart jumped. finally the task again. It's just that this task is not small, scoring a goal and helping the team win. This means that in the remaining time, Atletico Madrid must score more than 3 goals, and one must be scored by itself. Scoring 3 goals at halftime, it was really hard. However, thinking of the rich rewards after the task was completed, he was suddenly full of enthusiasm. Isn't it just scoring a goal? Isn't it just about letting the team win? Dry. Seeing Lin Rui on the field, the Atletico fans in the stands were dumbfounded. Who is this? An Asian. How did Simeone replace him? I don't know, maybe it's a new player. I heard that this is a Chinese, and Simeone recruited from Team B. Oh, shit. Did Simeone's head twitch? Why come up with such a rookie? What we need now is a strong striker. Are there good players in Huagua? It's over, we're going to be ready to lose today. Most Atletico fans are skeptical of Lin Rui. Only Clausia's small fan phalanx broke out into a round of warm applause. Lin, come on. Teach the minions of Royal Betis a hard lesson, Claus roared hoarsely. While roaring, she waved a banner with Lin Rui's name written on it, looking very excited. The dozens of Lin Rui fans behind her also roared along with her. Their actions were conspicuous in the ranks of apathetic Atletico fans. This couldn't help but make many fans in the neighborhood start to look sideways. Hey! Claus, a new player in China, is it worth your hard work for him? Not. Far from Clausia, a bald man stared at Claus a little strangely and teased. Reyes, don't underestimate people, I tell you, Lin is the most talented player I have ever met, and his performance will definitely blind you in a while. Claus worked hard to publicize Lin Rui. You pull down, I see that you are living more and more back. I heard that you have gone to the West B to watch the last few games. You are really depraved. That kid may be very good in La B, but this is La Liga, the best league in Europe. I don't believe he can do well as a new person. Although he looks strong. The bald man Royce obviously did not believe what Claus said, and his tone was filled with contempt. This annoyed Crya very much. Reyes, shut your stinky mouth. You are not allowed to slander our forest. Claus roared, isn't it? If that kid can score today, let me run naked underneath. Royce said with a laugh. Good. You remember your words today, and you will look good in a while. Claus said and turned her head away from the other party and focused on watching the game. Roy saw that Claus ignored herself, thinking that the other party was timid, and couldn't help but laugh proudly. At this time, Lin Rui had already run onto the court, and Juan Forlan went to send out of bounds. Turan went up to pick up. After receiving the ball out of bounds, Turan carried Perez's upper grab behind him and passed the ball back to Juan Fran. After Juan Forlan received the ball, he glanced up, and suddenly swept a red and white figure appeared in the box. He did not have any hesitation, directly kicked a long pass, passed the ball to the box. After passing the ball, Juan Fran saw that the figure was the Chinese man who had just been replaced. At this time, he appeared in the most dense penalty area of Real Betis players, and there were Real Betis defenders in front of and behind him. Surrounded him tightly in the crowd. Seeing this situation, Juan Fran cursed secretly, and then turned his head to return to defense. In his opinion, this ball Lin Rui has no way to get anyway. He had to get back in place when Real Betis launched a counterattack. It's just that he had just run out 2 steps when he heard a burst of cheers. Juan Fran looked back stunned, his eyes widening in surprise. I saw that the football was already bouncing in the net at this time. The ball, what the did go in? What the hell is going on here? Juan Fran was completely stunned. Soon, the playback on the big screen of the scene made him understand what had just happened. Just now, the football he passed cut through an arc and fell directly into the Real Betis penalty area. Lin Rui looked at the incoming ball and judged the landing point of the football, and his body moved to the position of the landing point. At the same time, behind him, a total of 3 Real Betis defenders clinged to him. Among them, Amaya, who is 1 meter and 2 meters tall, is the most conspicuous. His strong body squeezed Lin Rui's body while jumping against the football, trying to reach the ball before Lin Rui. It was at this time that Lin Rui jumped. Then, the 3 Real Betis players who were surrounding him suddenly felt a powerful force coming from his side. Their bodies involuntarily fell to the side. Especially Amaya, who had a fierce confrontation with Lin Rui, was directly squeezed out. Lin Rui was like a blooming stamen, bursting out from a few petals next to it. After squeezing the 3 defenders apart, the next thing is simple. Lin Rui faced the flying football, directly shook the head of a lion, and pushed the ball firmly into the upper right corner of the goal. The Real Betis goalkeeper didn't even have time to make a save, and the football had already hit the net behind him. Episode 56. GGGGGGGGOAELLLLLLLL. Nice goal. Goal scorer. Eh. Let me see. It's a Huagua guy who just came on the field, Lin Rui. The excited roar of the live DJ finally sounded over Calderon Stadium for the first time today. However, when it came to Lin Rui's name, he still got stuck. It was really that the name Lin Rui was too unfamiliar to him, and he had to go through the team's information. However, this does not affect the atmosphere of the scene. With his lead, the Atletico fans in the stands, who had suppressed most of the court, also suddenly cheered wildly. "Oh my God! He actually scored!" In the corner of the stands, the bald man Roy stared at a pair of big eyes, his eyes full of disbelief, and Croya, who was not far from him, shouted excitedly at this time. She waved a banner and shouted Lin Rui's name in her mouth, looking in a state of fanaticism. When she was cheering, she turned her head to look at Royce next to her, her eyes full of teasing. "Reyes, it's time for you to deliver on your promise." Hearing Croya's words, Royston's face was full of embarrassment. Just now, he said that if Lin Rui scored, he would run naked. Now people really score goals, but are they really going to run naked? Royce felt that if he did, he wouldn't have to live. Seeing Royce's expression, Claus pouted disdainfully and said, "How? Now admit it?" Hearing Claus's words, the look on Royce's face became even more embarrassed, but in order not to die, he still licked his face and fawned. "Hee hee. Crya, I admit, just now I had no eyes, I confessed. What I said just now is also a whim, so don't take it seriously, right? Cut. Whoops. Okay, forget it this time, but in the future, you have to respect Lin. Come and follow us to cheer him on." "Hey. Good come. I'm doing this." Hearing that Claus was not thinking about him, Royston relaxed. Then they followed Claus and they cheered Lin Rui together. Not to mention, although this guy Royce has a smelly mouth, his voice is indeed loud enough, and the power of cheering is really not covered. Under his leadership, the fans of their piece began to chant Lin Rui's name. On the court, Lin Rui was also very excited to see his header score. It was his first La Liga goal, and it was very memorable. He clenched his fists and raised them high, making his signature moves that showed off his explosive muscles. Atletico Madrid's teammates had already gathered around at this time. Falcao, who was closest to him, was the first to rush over. He excitedly patted Lin Rui's shoulder and said with a smile, "Good job, buddy. This ball is amazing." Then other teammates also came over to congratulate Lin Rui. Simeone on the sidelines threw his fists several times with excitement after seeing Lin Rui put the ball into the goal. At this time, he was extremely glad that he had decided to let Lin Rui play. He had already seen Lin Rui go a lot, but he didn't expect the other party to be better than he expected. He scored on the first touch. This ability to tackle tough problems is really too perverted. Simeone was happy, and Real Betis manager Pepe Meyer, who was not far from him, was sluggish at this time. Just now, when Juan Forlan passed the cross, he still had a relaxed smile on his face, looking at Lin Rui, who could only struggle surrounded by 3 players on his side in the box, and he still had some disdain in his heart. This stupid big guy only knows how to run around. There is no agility at all. It seems that Simeone is really dizzy and sent such a stunned blue. It's just that as soon as his thoughts turned, Lin Rui's performance startled him. What kind of monster is this? One man fought against 3 defenders and fucking won the confrontation. The most incredible thing is that after squeezing the 3 people apart, such a beautiful head hammer came and broke the goal. At this time, Pepe Meyer felt like he was dreaming, or fucking nightmarizing. In the live broadcast room, seeing Lin Rui's goal, the 3 hosts were all calm. Lu Jian had completely put down the composure and reservedness that a host should have at this time, and slapped the table with both hands, roaring excitedly while patting. Zhang Lu was still calm, but the excitement and smile on his face could not be hidden. Xu Fan jumped up directly, clapping and cheering while jumping, as if treating the live broadcast room as the scene of a star meeting. Lin Rui scored. He really scored. It was his first La Liga goal, and it was memorable, Lu Jian said while rubbing his painful wrist after the excitement. Yes, this goal means a lot to Lin Rui. And this goal is also a goal worth a lot of money for Atletico Madrid. When the team needs help the most, Lin Rui can step up and score the ball, which is very morale boosting. And what Atletico Madrid lacks now is morale. And this goal is purely technically exciting. Lin Rui can easily jump under the bag of 3 people and put the ball in, which is really not something that ordinary people can do. This also reflects Lin Rui's unparalleled strength and excellent heading technique. And these characteristics are an important means of cracking a dense defense. It can be said that Simeone's substitution is absolutely divine, and it revitalizes the team at once, so it seems that Simeone is worthy of being a world-famous coach, and he really dares to make breakthroughs at critical moments. It takes a lot of courage to replace Lin Rui, a pure newcomer. After Zhang Lu calmed down, he began to analyze the technical analysis of the goal just now. Wow. Is Lin Rui's ball so powerful just now? Xu Fan looked like a curious baby, very cute. Yes, it's that powerful. Zhang Lu nodded affirmatively and said. By this time, the game had resumed. With the goal just now, Atletico Madrid's morale was boosted, and they changed their decline just now, launching wave after wave of onslaught on Real Betis goal. Real Betis players, on the other hand, can only struggle to support. They have not yet woken up from the shock they had just had. Lin Rui's performance just now was a little beyond their understanding. The first time they faced a monster-level opponent like Lin Rui, they seemed a little unprepared, so in the remaining minutes of the first half, Atletico Madrid began to create dangers in front of Real Betis. If it weren't for Real Betis' consistent goalkeepers' play, Atletico Madrid would have equalized before the end of the first half. However, time was running out of the first half, and after 2 minutes of stoppage time, the referee blew the whistle for the end of the first half. Episode 57. After the whistle, the players on both sides all stopped the game and started walking towards the dressing room. However, at this time, the players of the two sides are in completely different shapes. The players of Atletico Madrid were in high spirits, talking and laughing. The players of Real Betis have solemn expressions. If you don't know, you think that it is Atletico Madrid who is leading at this time. The Atletico players who returned to the dressing room, except for Adrian, looked happy. But with Adrian, no one cares. Because you're not good on the pitch, you can't help the team, and you're always dragging your feet, so you're going to face exclusion from your teammates. And Lin Rui, as a player who broke the deadlock for the team, was naturally treated by his teammates. This upset Adrian even more, but there was nothing he could do. And while the players were laughing and playing, Simeone pushed the door with a gloomy face and walked in. Seeing Simeone's face, the dressing room, which was still lively just now, suddenly became quiet. "Gentlemen, it looks like you're happy with the first half." Simeone's tone was a little cold, which made the players who heard it unconsciously tighten their hearts. Seeing that everyone became serious, Simeone slowly spoke. "What I want to tell you is that it is too early for you to relax like this. No, it should be said that it is stupid. Because now the situation is, we are still 1 goal behind. Remember, we are still the chasers. Don't think that in the last minutes of the first half, the opponent can't lift his head. Just think that we can easily score in the second half. I tell you, if you think so, then you are very wrong. The second half wasn't as good. Our opponent is a team that scored 2 of our goals at our home stadium, and they are not as weak as you think. I ask you to keep this in mind." The more Simone spoke, the more severe his voice became, and in the end, he basically became more vocal. The group of Atletico Madrid players bowed their heads one by him. They did get a little carried away just now. Seeing that the players recognized their problems, Simeone softened his tone. "Of course, while we value our opponents, we must not be afraid of our heads. In the second half, the opponent will definitely fight to the death, hold on to the advantage of 1 goal, and then wait for the opportunity to play our counterattack. And what we have to do is break their dense defense." In the second half, we played long passes and sent the ball to Lin's head. "Lin, I'm going to use your body to resist the opponent's defenders, and then form a fulcrum, shoot yourself when you have the opportunity, and if you don't have a chance, then create a shot opportunity for your teammates. Can it be done?" Simone looked at Lin Rui with inquiry in his eyes. "No problem." Lin Rui's answer was crisp. This satisfied Simeone. A smile finally appeared on his originally serious face, and he nodded and said, "Lin, I want to praise your performance in the first half. You completed the task I gave you very well. Let us bite the opponent tightly. I hope your performance is not short-lived." "Don't worry, Headman. I'll get the job done." Lin Rui's voice was not loud, but very firm. Simeone smiled and nodded, then began to arrange the tasks that other players would need to undertake. By the time he finished explaining everyone's duties, it was almost time for intermission. Soon, players from both sides were back on the field. With the referee's whistle, the game resumed. The second half was as Simeone expected, with Real Betis starting to shrink their formation and resolutely play a defensive counterattack. It looks like they want to hold on to the advantage of this 1 ball. For this situation, the players of Atletico Madrid are also prepared. At halftime just now, Simeone's arrangement was not given in vain. They directly started the long pass rush style of play. This suddenly made the whole game seem rough style, completely losing the passing control characteristics unique to La Liga teams. In the 49th minute, Turan crossed directly from the left and kicked the ball into the middle of the box. Lin Rui pressed Amaya and Martinez to top the football, but this time his header didn't hold down, and the ball grazed the upper edge of the crossbar and flew off the line. Seeing that the football did not advance, Lin Rui threw his arm with some chagrin. In the 53rd minute, Gabi tripped over a defender in front and Atletico Madrid won a free kick in front. This position is more than 40 meters away from the goal, and some are close to the wing. There is no way to hit the goal directly, so Lin Rui did not think of going to the free throw, but ran to the penalty area, ready to compete for the top. Raul Garcia takes a free kick. The free kick he freed off, crossed an arc and went straight to the left side of the goal. At the same time as the football was issued, Lin Rui judged the landing point of the football, and then rushed directly to the landing point. And Amaya and Martinez, who followed him, also started at the same time and followed him closely. While the two of them kept up with Lin Rui, they both made small movements on their hands. Amaya covertly pulled the corner of Lin Rui's clothes and tried to affect his sprint speed, while Martinez took advantage of Lin Rui's forward momentum and pushed him very covertly. Under this push and pull, if you change to an ordinary player, it is estimated that you will have lost your center of gravity long ago. But Lin Rui was not an ordinary person after all. His body only stumbled slightly, and then stabilized his figure. And after he stabilized his figure, he saw the opportunity to make a sharp stop, and suddenly let Martinez, who was rushing forward, hit his back. Martinston felt that he had hit a wall, almost unable to lift it in one breath, and his body fell out under the action of the reaction force. Lin Rui used the power of this collision to continue to accelerate forward, carrying Amaya, who was competing with him for position, with his body, and jumped directly to the top of the football. Amaya, on the other hand, was directly squeezed away when he was competing with Lin Rui for a position. In desperation, he could only pull Lin Rui's close and try to pull the other party down. But he underestimated Lin Rui's perversion. This time, instead of pulling Lin Rui down, he himself was brought to the side, mixed with garlic under his feet, and fell to the ground. At this time, the football had flown over. Lin Rui jumped high, directly shook his head, and pushed the ball towards the goal. This time, Lin Rui's header hit the goal range, but due to the interference of Amaya just now, it still affected the angle of his header, and this ball was relatively square, and it was directly saved by the Real Betis goalkeeper. Seeing that his attack was saved again, Lin Rui unconsciously scolded the country. At this time, the two Royal Betis defenders defending him only got up from the ground at this time, looking at Lin Rui's face full of resentment and solemnity. The pressure Lin Rui caused them was too great. A strong man like Amaya, who was more than 1 meter and 9 meters, was actually taken out of balance by Lin Rui, a guy who seemed to be a circle smaller than himself. Not to mention Martinez's small stature. Now I still can't stand up straight. This guy is so scary. However, through several confrontations, several of Real Betis defensive players have also adapted to Lin Rui's style of play. Although Lin Rui's strength was not something they could fight against, the technique under the feet of this big man was difficult to say. Therefore, when defending the other side, these defenders can concentrate on defending Lin Rui's upper 3 ways, without having to defend his lower 3 ways too much. In this way, their defensive pressure is slightly less. Coupled with the deepening familiarity with Lin Rui, there are more ways to defend. For example, when competing with Lin Rui, don't try to go head-to-head with the other party, but use some small means, such as pulling, or then covertly pushing the other party when the other party jumps up, so that his head is not so comfortable. Although this cannot compete for Lin Rui's header, it can affect the quality of the opponent's header. For example, just now, although Lin Rui successfully squeezed Amaya and Martinez apart, Amaya still managed to pull Lin Rui's clothes in a hidden position. This caused Lin Rui's header to not be fully deployed, so it would be saved by the goalkeeper. At this time, Lin Rui is also a little annoyed, although he can easily squeeze the opposing defenders, but the defenders of La Liga are experienced. Those little defensive tricks are casual, and they are not easy to detect by the referee. Lin Rui has been disturbed by these means several times, so that several of his attacks have failed. This gave Lin Rui a bit of a headache, but he knew that this was a difficulty that he had to overcome. If these means can't be dealt with, then he won't be able to gain a foothold in La Liga, because a single power forward is not a necessity for a team, so he now needs to think of a way to crack it. Episode 58. In the first few minutes of the second half, Lin Rui's attack seemed to be affected by the opposing defenders, causing him to miss several chances to score. Real Betis defensive players are still more small. This may be what Lin Rui urgently needs to find a way to crack now. In the live broadcast room, Lu Jian said with some concern. Yes, the defensive level of La Liga defenders is definitely much higher than that of La B, not only in terms of the technical level of the players, but also in some of the experience on the spot. They can quickly defend according to the characteristics of the attacking players. At halftime, the head coach of Real Betis must have analyzed Lin Rui and told the players how to limit Lin Rui. A power player like Lin Rui, you will definitely suffer a loss if you confront him head-on. So they obviously changed their defensive strategy in the second half, reduced the confrontation with Lin Rui head-on, and instead used some hidden small means to interfere with Lin Rui. This little trick is on the verge of fouling and not fouling, and the referee is sometimes not very good at making decisions. Although these methods are somewhat dishonorable, the results are sometimes really good. Now it's up to Lin Rui to quickly come up with a way to crack it. After all, encountering such small means will affect the mentality of the players. I hope Lin Rui will not be affected. Zhang Lu analyzed professionally. Those guys who defend Lin Rui are really bad. If you can't fight it head-on, you will use insidious tricks, which is too hateful. Xu Fankai doesn't care what defensive means, she definitely wants to protect the idol in her heart. Hearing Xu Fan's words, the two old men also laughed. There is such a beautiful concoction who does not know much about balls, but it relieves the intense atmosphere a lot. At this time, on the court, Lin Rui, who was disturbed several times, also realized that his offensive means were somewhat single. A single offensive means is easily targeted by the opponent, so at this point, he started trying to play differently. That's to pull it out and shoot from distance. In addition to his header, he also had a Barty-heavy cannon that he didn't use. This change immediately caught Real Betis defenders a little off guard. In the 59th minute, Gabi dribbled the ball past Perez, who was on the pitch, and then sent a straight kick. Falcao received the pass, facing the two defenders who were pasted. He did not choose to break through, but directly kicked the ball and passed the ball to Lin Rui, who had already pulled out of the box on the other side. In the face of the incoming ball, Lin Rui did not stop the ball, but faced the football and directly puffed his thighs. Boom! There was a bang, and the football went straight to the top right corner of the goal like a cannonball. Seeing the ball, Casto quickly flew to pounce, but he could not touch the football, and the football grazed his hand and flew directly. Just when he was desperate, he heard a boom behind him. A bang. Casto looked back just in time to see the football bouncing off the beam. Seeing that the football did not score, Casto was relieved, and at this time, he found that a layer of cold sweat broke out on his back. Oops. It's a pity for this ball. Just that point away from scoring. Seeing Lin Rui's shot hit the goal frame, Lu Jian slapped his thigh in a hurry. It's a pity that this ball is a pity, but it doesn't matter. From this ball we can see some changes in Lin Rui. He is no longer just waiting in the box to fight for headers. When he has the chance, he will also pull it out and shoot from distance. In this way, it makes the players defending him very uncomfortable, because they can no longer easily judge Lin Rui's attack style, which brings Lin Rui more shooting opportunities. And when there are more opportunities, there is always a time to succeed. Just like this shot just now, it was already close to success. I believe that if you come a few more times, you may have it. Zhang Lu is worthy of being a former international footballer, very experienced, and he can see the changes in Lin Rui at a glance. And as he said, Lin Rui quickly achieved results after changing his tactics. In the 64th minute, Raul Garcia found Gabi on the right side of the box with a long pass from midfield. Gabi did not stop the ball, but reached out and patted the ball towards the top of the arc of the penalty area. Falcao was already in that position with a bow and an arrow, and it was a shot to meet the incoming ball. However, at this time, there are many defensive players in the Real Betis penalty area. His shot hit a defender's leg and bounced out. The rebounding football flew in the direction of the outside of the penalty area, slightly to the right, and this position is right in front of Lin Rui. In the face of the football that suddenly flew over, Lin Rui did not choose to stop the ball, but after stepping forward, he directly picked up his right foot. Then everyone saw that Lin Rui's right foot, like a baseball bat, was directly pumped in the middle and lower part of the football. Boom! The football is directly deformed by the naked eye of this all-out blow. Then the football, which has gained sufficient kinetic energy, turns into an arc as if traveling through time, and goes straight to the upper right corner of the goal. The ball was so fast that the Real Betis goalkeeper only had time to move his body, and the ball was already in front of him. By the time he reached out, the football had hit the net behind him. GGGGGGGGOAELLLLLLL. The sound of live DJs once again resounded throughout the Calderon Stadium. 2-2. We equalized. Goal scorer, Lin Rui. This time, when the live DJ called out Lin Rui's name, it was much smoother. Under his leadership, the fans immediately erupted into a sea of cheers. In these cheers, Lin Rui's name was also shouted by more fans. The ball went in. In. World wave. Brace. Lin Rui. That's awesome. This is the first time we have scored twice for a Chinese player in La Liga. It's definitely a memorable day. Let's cheer for Lin Rui to our heart's content. Oh. Oh. In the live broadcast room, Lu Jian roared while pounding the table. Zhang Lu next to him was also excited, and after slapped the table hard a few times and vented his excitement, he said excitedly, I have to say, this ball is amazing. At such a distance, non-stop balls, direct volleys, and hanging straight to the dead end, I can only say, it's too hanging. With this goal, Atletico Madrid have now equaled Real Betis at home, and there are still more than 20 minutes left in the game, which is not long, not short. Will Atletico Madrid beat the score in this time? Let's wait and see. Episode 59. I am Chow. Lin Rui's goal is amazing. Absolute world waves. I'm going to choke with excitement. I can't believe it. This is what our Chinese players can play? And still in La Liga. I'm not dreaming, am I? Brother, I just tried, it's really not a dream, and now my thighs still hurt. This ball is definitely the top 10 ball of the week, no run. Watch World Football on Monday, and if I don't have this ball in the top 10, I will smash the TV. Proof of this, dude, you have no sincerity in this vow. Everyone knows that this ball is worth the top 10. If you dare to bet that this goal does not score the top 10 goals, then it is awesome. Yes. That brother just now, if you dare to bet that this goal does not score the top 10 goals, I will bet 10,000 yuan with you. If you win, I will give you 10,000. If you lose, give me 1,000. I bet 100,000. I bet 1 million. I bet 100 billion. That. I'm the one who swore just now. Who wants to bet 10 billion with me? Come, you first take out 10 billion to let me see what it looks like. Looking at the cheerful pace of the comment area, the three hosts in the live broadcast room also looked at each other and laughed. It seems that the fans are quite satisfied with Lin Rui's performance. Lu Jian said with a smile, that's a must, not only the fans, but also professionals like me. I guess they are all satisfied and can't be more satisfied. You know, this is his first appearance in an official La Liga. The newcomer can have his performance, it is already in existence against the sky. After all, even the first appearance of Messi and Ronaldo did not kick Lin Rui's performance. Speaking of which, I have to give everyone a popular science. Let's take a look at what the debut performances of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi look like. First of all, Ronaldo's first Big Five game was on September 13, 2003, in Manchester United's Premier League game against Bolton, in which he played 30 minutes and although he performed well, he was unable to score. Messi's first appearance for Barcelona was on October 16, 2004 against Espanyol, in which Messi was substituted in the 82nd minute and also did not score. It can be seen that the proud sons of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi both came on as substitutes when they first landed in the top league, and they did not score on their debuts. And our Lin Rui, who played for about 20 minutes at this time, scored 2 goals, and once hit the goal frame. This kind of performance, I have no words to describe it. It is also worth mentioning that Lin Rui is only 18 years and 1 month old, which is similar to the age at which Cristiano Ronaldo Messi first appeared on the stage of the top league. Although we don't know what Lin Rui's future development path will be, and whether he can achieve such dazzling results as Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, we can look forward to it now. At least now there is a basis for saying that he is the first rookie. Zhang Lu's face was full of emotion, and his eyes were full of pride. He has reason to be proud, because the player on the field who kills all sides is a Chinese player, a Chinese like him. On the other hand, as the only female host in the audience, Xu Fan even released her eyes as a fangirl, looking at the great figure on the screen, and fell into obsession. The figure when Lin Rui shot the goal just now was deeply imprinted in her heart. At this time, she had lost interest in speaking, only deeply attracted. Of course, Lin Rui, who was thousands of miles away, did not know that his great figure had been imprinted in the heart of a young girl. At this time, he was receiving congratulations from his teammates. This time, the teammates worked together to push Lin Rui down on the lawn, and then pounced excitedly one by one. A bunch of Atletico Madrid players celebrated wildly in front of Real Betis' goal. The surrounding group of Real Betis players were dumbfounded and frustrated. They couldn't help but get frustrated, having 2 goals ahead and comfortably using a defensive counterattack to drag their opponents to death on the road. And in the beginning, things were indeed moving in this direction. But unexpectedly, since that Huagua kid was replaced, the whole game situation has changed dramatically. The goal on his side became vulnerable under the completely unreasonable impact of the opponent. So at this time, their gaze towards Lin Rui was very complicated. There was hatred, fear, and a faint admiration. It was awe of a strong enemy. At this moment, they no longer regarded Lin Rui as a newcomer. Real Betis manager Pepe on the sidelines is no longer as ugly as he was when he led by 2 goals. This made Simeone, who was not far from him, feel how happy it was. Let your old boy be arrogant, and now you will be retributed, Simone thought to himself. Then he raised his arms and ran on the sidelines, deliberately glancing at Pepe with a defiant look as he passed him. Seeing Simeone's actions, Pepe almost didn't come up in one breath, and his face suddenly became extremely ugly. Isn't this Nima the action he made when he taunted the other party just now? I didn't expect the current world to come so quickly. Seeing Pepe expression of eating poop, Simeone's mood was even better. At the same time, he was extremely glad that he had decided to replace Lin Rui. At this time, the celebration of Atletico Madrid has also been completed. Their celebration didn't last long. After all, they had only equalized, and if they ended the game with that score, Atletico Madrid fans would not be satisfied. Seeing that both players had returned to their own half, the referee immediately blew the whistle to restart the game. Real Betis kicked off first. This time after they kicked off, there was no way to shrink the defense. At this point, the two sides are back on the same running line, and if they do not attack and are passively beaten, they are likely to lose the ball again. In that case, they would really be finished today. And the other party has Lin Rui, a pervert, and his own dense defense does not seem to play a good role. In this case, Real Betis' only option is to attack, take advantage of the fact that Atletico Madrid has just equalized, and there is a chance to change in mentality and see if they can steal one. So Real Betis went on a crazy offensive from the very beginning of the game. Episode 60. Juan Carlos broke through with the ball. He passed the upper grab Godin, straight through. The football went through the gap between Turan and Gabi. Ruben Perez was offside. He shot. Fortunately, Courtois was in a reasonable position and fell to save the ball. Real Betis got a chance at a corner. Salva takes a corner, the ball is headed out of the box by Miranda, and Ruben Perez meets the ball from distance. The football did not press, it was higher than the crossbar. In the live broadcast room, Lu Jian's somewhat nervous voice was explaining the game. During the re-kickoff period, Real Betis has had several shots on goal. there was a lot of noise in front of Atletico Madrid. If it weren't for Atletico Madrid's young goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, who was doing well today, he might have conceded a goal. Seeing this situation, Simeone on the sidelines could not sit still. He rushed to the sidelines and began to loudly direct Atletico's players to strengthen their defense. Atletico Madrid was a bit passive during this time. It looks like they just equalized and changed their players' mentality. And if this situation does not change in time, Atletico Madrid is still a bit dangerous today. Jean-Lou's voice was filled with worry. Oops. What an annoyance. Lin Rui finally helped the team equalize the score. How did this become so passive again? Lin Rui's teammates are also true. Shoo. Fans' tone was filled with dissatisfaction. She definitely wouldn't say that Lin Rui couldn't do it, and if it didn't, Lin Rui's teammates were all pig teammates. Hearing her words, Jean-Loup and Lu Jian could only look at each other and smile bitterly. Although they also think that what Shu fan said has some truth, they can't say that. In the stadium stands, Atletico Madrid fans were even more nervous at this time. They finally saw the hope of the team winning, but in the blink of an eye, the team fell into passivity, which made everyone a little unacceptable. Lin Rui was standing in front of the court at this time, and he had not received the ball for a while. Seeing that the situation on his side was not too good, he also began to retreat to his own half to participate in the defense. With his addition, the crisis in front of Atletico Madrid was finally brought under control. Just now, Real Betis also adopted a simple strategy of playing high and high, and began to attack the goal of Atletico. Their 1-9-2 center-back Amaya and 1'8" midfielder Salva snatched headers from inside Atletico's penalty area several times. It poses no small threat to Atletico's goal. However, all this was resolved after Lin Rui returned to the penalty area to participate in defense. Lin Rui's physique, a stop in the penalty area. As long as it is a high-altitude ball, there is basically nothing for others. In the 75th minute of the game, Martinez crossed from the right in front, and Amaya was about to jump near the penalty spot, but suddenly felt a strong force coming from the side, making his body unconsciously tilted to the side. Amaya was suddenly shocked, and quickly turned his head to look, only to see that the Huagua kid who brought a heavy shadow to him appeared on his side, jumping in front of the flying football, and he was squeezed aside by him. Seeing this figure, Amaya felt bitter in his heart. This Nima Hua guy is also too unhuman, and he was bullied by you when defending before. After all, you are a striker. To score goals, a defender can also understand. But now I'm attacking, and you're a striker running over to do the job of a defender, which is a bit of a deception. At this moment, Amaya's heart was full of resentment. However, no matter how angry he was, it didn't help. He could only watch Lin Rui jump easily and push the ball out of the penalty area. The football that Lin Rui came out of was not obtained by Real Betis players this time, but was stopped at the feet by Gabi. He pulled the ball and turned around, passing Martinez, who was up behind him, and then sent a straight pass to find Turan, who was rushing towards the front. The force of this pass is very suitable, allowing Turan to control the ball at his feet without slowing down. After Turan took the ball, he stumbled forward, used his speed to pass Perez, who came up to intercept, and then went straight past the halfway line. At this time, Real Betis' empty back line was guarded by only 2 defenders. Seeing Turan rushing over, the 2 defenders divided one to come up to intercept, and the other to greet Falcao, who had rushed up to pick up. Now the situation is 2-on-2, and there were several Atletico players and Real Betis players rushing in the back. However, they are a bit far away, and they will not pose a threat for a while. Facing the defense of the opposing defender, Turan directly chose to break through. With a feint, he made the defender defending him shake, and a trace of defensive emptiness appeared. Taking advantage of this slightest vacancy, Turan directly smashed the ball, directly dunked the opponent, and then went straight to the penalty area to kill. However, the defender defending Turan Betis also reacted quickly, and immediately turned around to chase after being dunked by Turan. He did not chase behind the other party, but directly jammed the line of Turan inner cut, so that the other party could not cut inside. In this case, Turan can only continue to rush to the bottom line with the ball, and just when he was about to reach the bottom line, he suddenly made a sharp stop, allowing the defender who followed him to show a trace of defensive emptiness. Taking advantage of this, Turan directly passed the ball with an inverted triangle and passed the ball to the middle of the penalty area. In that position, Falcao was already outflanked in place. However, he was accompanied by another defensive Betis defender. In the face of incoming balls, Falcao can only carry the defenders defending him while stretching out his feet and shooting. His foot hit the football, but unfortunately, due to the interference of the defenders, his movements could not be fully unfolded. The soccer ball that poked out was not fast. This gave Betis goalkeeper Castro plenty of reaction time to make a side dive and pull the ball off the line. Atletico Madrid get a corner kick. Seeing that the football did not advance, Falcao, who fell to the ground, hammered the turf twice with some annoyance. This opportunity was very rare, but unfortunately it fell short in the end. The Atletico fans in the stands all let out a sigh of regret. Simeone on the sidelines covered his head even more depressed. On the other side, Real Betis fans and players had a happy look on their faces. The moment Falcao shot just now, their hearts went to the throat. The game had to go on, this time with a corner kick from Atletico Madrid. Atletico's powerful headers all ran into the Real Betis penalty area, ready to compete for the top. Of course, Lin Rui ran from his own penalty area to the opponent's penalty area, ready to grab a header, and Amaya, who had suffered a loss under Lin Rui just now, was close to Lin Rui's side. Amaya held his stomach at this time, and he squeezed Lin Rui's side while not being idle. Huaguayan. This time will definitely make you look good. You give me care. Hearing the stupid big man next to him, Lin Rui felt a little inexplicable, but Lin Rui has always been unaccustomed to this kind of verbal provocation. Idiot. It's you who should be careful. Just then, Gabi's corner flew over.